Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus a so-called black man. Greece looks to move towards a 6-day work week. Greece looks to move towards a 6-day work week beginning July the 1st, 2024. Greece is moving some workers towards a 6-day work week. And this is the article from the website fortune.com, and it reads, "The work week is about to get a lot longer for some employees in Greece. Starting July 1st, workers in the private sector could be going into the office 6 days a week as the 48-hour work week goes into effect." So essentially, they taking, I guess, what they would call a traditional 40-hour work week, which would consist of 5 days of working 8-hour shifts, and bumping it up to now working 6 days, 8-hour shifts, which would give you a grand total of 48 hours. Okay. And it says select industrial and manufacturing facilities, along with businesses that provide 24/7 services, are eligible to extend the work week beyond 5 days under new labor laws. Food service and tourism workers are now included in the longer work weeks. So I guess if you have a 24/7, service, you can now are eligible to extend the work week beyond 5 days. Okay? Because now you have this new law that goes into effect July 1st, essentially saying that now, private sectors and certain, sectors of the economy can now shift to working a mandatory 6-day work week. Okay? So now instead of getting 2 days of rest, you potentially can only, get 1 day of rest. All right. It says select industrial and manufacturing facilities, along with businesses that provide 24/7 services, are eligible to extend the work week beyond 5 days under new labor laws. Food service and tourism workers are not included in the longer work weeks. The change to the labor laws was approved last September following productivity issues in the country, which have led many workers to put in extra hours and often not be compensated for the time. Officials also note there has been a shortage of skilled workers due to a shrinking population. So as we go on to read, you're going to see that upon working on this 6th day, extra 8 hours, they're going to up your pay. Okay. Now here in America, we know after you work 40 hours, I believe it's by law that your job has to pay you time and a half. Okay. In this scenario, they're going to bump up your pay 40%. And 115% if you work 6 days and that 6th day fall on a so-called holiday in Greece, okay? In America, if you work on a holiday, you get paid time and a half for the most part. Some may pay double, but for the most part, it's time and a half. So Greece is outdoing that standard by 15%. If you take it at its most, which is double, Greece is still outdoing it by bumping up the pay 115%. I guess to incentivize people to, want to work those 6 days. It says the change to the labor laws was approved last September following productivity issues in the country, which have led many workers to put in extra hours and often not be compensated for the time. Officials also note there has been a shortage of skilled workers due to a shrinking population. Workers who do not put in extra time will receive 40% extra during the traditional 8 hours and 115% of their normal salary if they work on a holiday. So let's read that again. It says workers who do not put in the extra time will receive 40% extra during the additional 8 hours. So you're going to get an additional 40% of your 8 hours, okay? Whatever your salary is, whether you get paid by the hour or you get paid on the salary. It says in 115% of their normal salary if they work on a holiday. Employers who decide to embrace the 48-hour work week will be required to notify employees at least 24 hours before the shift begins. No additional overtime beyond the 8 hours is allowed. So after that 8 hours, you're cut off, okay? You cannot get any additional overtime, all right? And this is the standard that Greece is looking to move towards, starting July the 1st, okay? Now we know according to the scriptures, it's said that you are supposed to work 6 days, and on the 7th day is the Sabbath. You're supposed to rest, okay? Not do any type of work, all right? Now we know in these societies, especially ran by Esau Edom, he doesn't uphold that, okay? What does he do? He works you 7 days a week. He has different sectors that runs nonstop 7 days a week. Okay, and also he incentivized people to, go out, buy and sell, and do all type of things that you're not supposed to do on the Sabbath, which is a day of rest. Okay, and it tells us that in the Bible, 6 days shall thou work, and on the 7th day thou shalt rest. Okay, and even more, how did the Israelites, our forefathers, learned to keep the Sabbath in the wilderness continuously? On the 6th day, Yahweh would give them a double portion of manna, which would, alert them to notify them that the next day would be the Sabbath. Okay. Now here they're giving you, or trying to incentivize you by giving you an extra 40%, for those that are forced to work 6 days. Okay. And 115% if it falls on a so-called holiday, all right? So the question was posed, on another website I believe that I read, will more EU nations adopt this, 6-day work week, okay? And who knows, man? But one thing for sure is they're not going to adopt it in righteousness, okay? They're not going to, completely model their society after a complete 6-day work week and a 7-day rest. They're going to work the whole 7 days, okay? It's just different sectors is going to partake in this 6-day work week, all right? And the people, they have a lot to say about it because they feel like they are already working, these tedious and, long stretch hours, okay, which is 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, which is 40 hours a work week. Now they're going to get bumped up to 6 days, all right? But hey, that's how it is here in America for some people, okay? It's not mandatory, but some jobs allow their employees to come in and work an extra day or two, in order to make up, loose ends or to get extra money, okay? And what does it say? Okay, you're not supposed to, work on a 7th day. Okay, you're not supposed to work 7 days. All right, you're only supposed to work 6 days. All right, on the 7th day, you're supposed to rest. All right. So let's go in and get a few, precepts, and let's take it from there. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 10 and verse 1. And it reads, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, in that right grievousness which they have prescribed. Right. So here it is, in a already, wicked society, they trying to squeeze every last drop out of their, out of their servants, okay? By what? Making them to, making them to manually work 6 days, all right, in certain sectors, all right? And knowing that they're not shutting down their whole economy for that 7th day to give the land rest, all right? So it's just a grab, to promote, economy growth by forcing certain sectors to work, certain sectors of the economy to work 6 days, mandatory, all right? So I guess the people, they're going to be in an uproar, all right? And it tells us that in St. Matthew, the 24th chapter, I believe that that's one of the signs, that people should be in uproars. So, hey, imagine going in, if you work a 5-day work week, 8 hours a week, and now you got to come in and work an extra 8 hours. You might be living, all right? You might be living, okay? In some jobs, you work 12-hour shifts, but 4 days a week. So it all depends on the model of the company. But for the most part, they're giving the employer the opportunity to push a 6-day work week, which would line up with 48-hour work weeks. Okay. So however you want to, slice and dice it, whether it's 6 days of 8 hours or whether it's 5 days of 12 hours, okay? Roughly speaking, or they might not give you the full, what's 12 times 5, 60? So it might be 12 times what, 4? 48, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see, make sure. 12 times 4. 4 days a week, 4 days a week, that's 48 hours. So now you may just have to come in and work 4 days if you work a 12-hour shift, as opposed to what you may have worked before, which was 3 days, which was 36 hours. So however you want to slice and dice it, they are trying to squeeze as much, out of the people as they can, okay? By implementing this 6-day work week, some people may not, necessarily want to work a full 48 hours, man. All right. But according to their law, that's what's going to take place July 1st, 2024, which is next Monday. A 6-day work week, So there goes your plans if you had anything to do on the weekend. All right. So Isaiah 10:1 says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees in that right grievousness which they have prescribed. And this is something that they have prescribed, because this is not a 6-day work week and a 7-day rest according to the Bible, man. This is something that they prescribe for the people to help boost their economy, okay? To help boost their economy, they're going to mandate a 6-day work week, all right? And nothing else. They're just using that model, to push, more labor onto the people, all right? Because you can go about, working 6 days, but 8 hours a week, 8 hours a day, hey, that's kind of, that's kind of long, man. All right, now this is Exodus 20 in verse 6. No, verse 8. Exodus 28, it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. So you have 6 days to get in all your work. Whether it's a full 6 days or partial 6 days, you have a 6-day, period to get in all your labor, to get in all your work, whether you can get it done in 1 day or whether it takes you 6 days, you have a cutoff. After 6 days, you are not to do any more work. But this devil, he gonna work him the whole 6 days, man. He gonna give him the whole 6 days, all right? It says, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. So in 6 days, you can labor, get everything done you need, all right? Verse 10, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. So all these companies, man, you know, they pushing the envelope, man. They getting as much out of their civil servants as they can. They working them to complete 6 days. And in return, they're going to pay them 40% on the 6th day. Okay? Not to say, you know, you are to get that here in America, but it's not mandatory that you have to come in 6 days. Okay? It's that if you work over 40 hours, you get paid time and a half. All right? But that's optional. Here, they making it mandatory. Okay? Unrighteous decree. Okay? Because they're not keeping anything else other than this 6-day work week. So it says, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy power. Right. And this is going to be implemented in the kingdom. Okay. They're going to work 6 strenuous days, man. We're going to put them to work, man. When we take them into slavery, they're going to work. 8 hours ain't going to be nothing, man. They're going to be working from sun up to sundown, man. Getting it in, you know, looking towards that 7th day to get rest. All right. But they ain't going to get no rest, man. At least mentally. We're going to plague them in the mind, man. They're going to be living, man. They're going to get it. These heathens are going to get that work in the kingdom, man. So it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. So you got 6 days to get it in. And, you know, they giving you a 40% bump on the Sabbath, which they call the 6th day. You know, they call it a 40% increase. But, you know, the Most High gave our forefathers, you know, a double portion of manna on the 6th day, you know, showing you that what? You know, you keep a continuous 6th day, and then on the end of that 6th day, he would give you a double portion of manna to you know, let you know that the next day is the Sabbath, to keep it holy. Okay, so we were being taught by that to keep the Sabbath in the wilderness for 40 years by getting a double portion of manna. Let's go there. Exodus 16 in verse 4. It says, then said Yahweh unto Moses, behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. So the Most High, you know, he rained a certain portion of bread, manna, every day, you know. It says, and it shall come to pass, verse 5, that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. Right, because why? The next day would be the Sabbath, the holy day. They keep it, you know, holy. You should not do any manner of work. So there wasn't going to be any need to go out and gather bread, because why? You was going to get your double portion on the 6th day. Okay. It says, verse 6, and Moses and Aaron said unto all the children of Israel at even, then ye shall know that Yahweh have brought you out from the land of Egypt. Right, and a day starts at evening once the sun goes down. It says, and in the morning, then you shall see the glory of Yahweh, for that he heareth your murmurings against Yahweh. And what are we that ye murmur against us? Right, so, you know, our forefathers, you know, they were murmuring, against, Yahweh, that you brought us out of the land of Egypt and left us here in the wilderness, and we can't, have the certain amenities that we had in Egypt. So Yahweh gave them this bread, from heaven, manna, and it tasted like whatever it is that they so sought to have taste for. Okay, and then he gave them quail, but the point is that he gave them a double dose on the sixth day, so that they would know it was the Sabbath the next day. Okay, and the fact that this country, Greece, is trying to mandate a 6-day work week and only give 40% on the sixth day after working 5 days continuously. Hey, that's an unrighteous decree, man. I understand the laws weren't given to you, but if you're trying to model or pattern your work week after a 6-day work week, hey, give them at least 100% more on that sixth day. Okay. But this is all a money grab scheme, okay? Get your people to work 6 days, squeeze as much out of them as you can, and only give them a portion, a slither of what they should get of working six continuously 8-hour, work days, all right? So this has been, Greece is moving to a 6-day work week beginning July the 1st, 2024. Where other EU nations follow suit. There's only time will tell. There's only, time that is going to show. Okay, well, we're going to see how this model is going to work out for the people in certain sectors of Greece. How are they going to be receptive to hearing and taking this mandatory 6-day work week, okay, of getting an extra 8 hours. All right, and only getting paid 40%. All right, unless that 6-day fall on a so-called holiday, then they will get an additional 115% bump up in pay. All right, but however you want to look at it, hey, it is what it is, man. This is the expectations of being under a wicked authority. Proverbs 29:2 tells us that what? When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And we read it, A lot of those people, man, they ain't with this extra day, okay? They're not with this extra 8 hours, okay? They have grown accustomed to having 2 days off. Now they got to come in and work an extra day. They do not see, fit to come in and work that 6th day, man. So this is what it is, all right? A 6-day work week being implemented in Greece starting July 1st, 2024. This is 1 Peter. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull that up before we close out. Yeah, Matthew 24. We can go to Mark 3. let's see if it's Mark 3, right around the 30th. Yeah, it's pretty much basically the same sentiment. You know, a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand, and if a house divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Same sentiment almost with Matthew 24, where it says, nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. You know, and the people, hey, they may go into an uproar, you know, seeing that they have to be forced to work a 6-hour work week. This might not last too long, man. So we'll see how it all play out, you know. So let's go ahead and close out 1 Peter 5 and verse 8. And it reads, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And I'm sure they are Israelite foreigners in Greece, okay? And I'm sure, you know, you got individuals that try to keep a continuous 6-day work week, you know, and a 7th-day rest. But now with this being implemented, it may put strain on them to, you know, try to keep the commandments to the best of their abilities. But, you know, that's to be expected in captivity. That's why we can't keep, you know, every commandment to the best, you know, to its fullness, only to the best of our ability, because why? We're under captivity. So like I said, I'm sure you have Israelite foreigners in Greece, you know, that with this mandatory law going into effect are going to be affected because they're probably, you know, working in one of those private sectors that now they have to work an additional day and are no longer able to, you know, if they go out and preach or keep the Sabbath, okay? So, you know, be sober, be vigilant, understand that, okay? You aren't going to be able to keep the law in its entirety, all right? You can only do what you are afforded or allowed to do to the best of your ability, all right? So that's why we just rehearsing the righteous acts, all right, until we get the kingdom, till we take back the kingdom, all right? Then we'll be able to, you know, keep everything in its fullness, all right? All the high holy days, you know, all the Sabbaths, all the laws, man. We'll have it all, you know, programmed in our inward parts, all right? But until then, you know, we have to be sober, be vigilant, you know, just continue to, you know, do the best that we have, that we can work with here in Babylon the Great and throughout the whole land, all right? Because the whole vibration is under this wicked authority, Esau, Edom, all right? But he's soon to be taken out of power, pursuing the 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. But until then, we got to continue to fight and endure unto the end. So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour, all right? And with that being said, I pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.